schools basically on the financial analysis. So that was, we were told, that was the main reason why the plug was pulled a few weeks ago on the initial approval for Ipswich to go become a unitary, sort of independent local authority. Just on this is the inset plan for the next up to 2021, and you'll see there's still a lot of emphasis on the waterfront. A lot of sites that have already been developed are under development, and the intention is that we still need to continue developing in that area, including the whole of the island site, which is the island between the river, River Orwell, and the wet dock. Again, that's partly driven by a need to regenerate the area to find new uses. But the dock has, the working port has moved down away from the town towards this area here. So we've got a bit of a void which has been filled by residential, primarily residential, some commercial development. So we still need to maintain that and overcome the flood risk issues for regeneration reasons. Secondly, we need to do it because we've not got the land elsewhere not to do it. And three, that is the housing targets for the borough, which we have to find something like 700 houses a year, or build, find enough land to build 700 houses a year. It takes that we have to build a fairly high density, and we're able to do that on the waterfront.
When you say
more so than elsewhere.
Well, when you say housing, does that mean housing per se, as in houses as homes, or are you talking about residential? Yeah. In terms of high
we have to meet the numbers, otherwise the government will criticise us. And they're not bothered whether the numbers are houses, homes, or flats.
Right.
So we are aware that a high proportion of what's being built at the moment, and possibly a higher proportion in the future, are flats rather than
because that's very visible as you walk in around.
And the other big pressure at the moment is student accommodation.
Which is going to increase.
Because of the new university, a lot of developers are coming in and wanting to build blocks of student accommodation on housing sites, which gives us another headache because the student accommodation is needed, but it's eating up housing land.
Yeah.
So there's a theme here. Land is very scarce. Land is in short supply in Ipswich. We haven't got a lot of options, and it has to be used very efficiently to meet the targets that were set by government for the amount of development we've got to accommodate.
So again, most of our development is taking place because the waterfront has amenity on the what's called the Stoke Quays area, the west side, all the way. I'm deliberately drawing over this arrow in the south of the town centre, on both sides of Star Lane, effectively, and all the way around the eastern. Oh dear, we are doing my prints. All the way around the eastern quays here as well. So one of the associated issues that goes together with land use, of course, is traffic and transport. This is generating a significant problem here. I mean, actually, we've obviously got the question of Crown Street and crossing the town centre to the north, and then the largely pedestrianised historic part of the town centre. And then we've got all the issues about traffic on the crossing at the southern end, how all the amenity and use and activity of the town centre and the waterfront relate to one another, because there are clearly a lot of people who would actually like to get more easily from the waterfront, not only in terms of residential use, but in terms of its amenity value between the town centre and the waterfront across this line of traffic. Anybody who's been in Ipswich has attempted to cross Star Lane, because there are obviously two lines of traffic, will know how difficult that is. And obviously one of the issues related to land use is the amount of car parking we make allowance for, the amount of parking generated by the uses that are taking place, whether in actual fact we can make one of the two lanes, the westbound, currently the westbound one, effectively a local traffic distributor just servicing the properties around the waterfront. And the northern one, Star Lane, is the one that goes eastbound, try and make that two-way. But of course there are political pressures associated with that, because the phrase gridlock Ipswich has come into currency, and for a lot of the peak periods the traffic is travelling at 5 miles an hour or is nearly stationary. And this road, these two roads combined now, carry the second heaviest flow of traffic in the county after the A14. And so any work that's done there, and we're already under major pressure in College Street alone, building Cranfields, the Cranfields about the Quay, and developments about to start on the other side of the road, of actually simply constructing them because of the sheer volume of traffic that's passing by all the time. So we have a number of things that are extremely difficult to reconcile. The general scale of development, the need for development on the waterfront, the regeneration issues, and the traffic issues, and they are extraordinarily complicated and they're all interrelated.
I'll put BOC and Paul's in as an example.
Oh, we've got BOC and Paul's as well.
This is a development site just at the back of the Custom House, if you know. It was the former headquarters office building of BOC and Paul's, the agricultural suppliers. They're no longer there. The site is to be redeveloped. And we've got our college, Quay Street, College Street main traffic route here. And the town centre is here. And the architects received a lot of praise from the Commission for Architecture and the Built Environment, CABE, for the way in which they engineered this scheme. And one of the key things was, in their own way, trying to increase the connectivity for pedestrians between the waterfront, which is here, and the town centre, which is here, by creating a series of new lanes, which are rather like the little lanes in the centre of the shopping area, and creating a new public space across Quay Street, which will still remain a traffic route.
And the second busiest road in the county.
But will provide the public square here, which will provide a much more psychologically and practically a much more attractive route across this busy traffic arterial here.
The traffic engineers are confident that it can be done. We would not have approved it had that not been possible. We may have to build it by diverting the traffic onto the site and off while it's under construction, in the expectation that it is finally built. So we're really significant engineering and logistical challenge to keep the traffic moving and construct a major public square, which ultimately will make simple pass over.
So this illustrates one of our key issues, really, which is enabling the waterfront to connect better to the town centre. Is that a good point to stop and see whether you want to...
Can I just ask the name that main arterial road again?
This one here. It's
it's
what's the A rating? What's it? The A? Is it an A anything?
No. I mean, it's just everybody refers to it as Saltaire Street, Quay Street, College Street. Other people just refer to it as a Star Lane gyration scheme, because it's effectively Star Lane is the northern part of it, and Saltaire Street, Quay Street, College Street is the southern part of it. But it's sort of colloquially known as Star Lane, what generally knows it as.
And as you said at the outset, Bob, we've got 70,000 people on each side of the town.
Yeah.
A lot of whom want to get from one side to the
other. All
other.
of this has somehow got to get across there.
Yeah.
Basically, that's and not only people obviously crossing, say, from the eastern side of Ipswich to work in the west and vice versa, but obviously to get into the town centre as well. That's still a key area of employment, as indeed are areas like the hospital, which employs a very considerable number of people, and BT research out of Martlesham. I don't quite know how many people they employ there, but it's a huge number. It's not actually in the borough, but when you meet people on a weekend, it seems to me every other person you meet says, "Oh, I work for BT."
So does that sort of address your interest in terms of your current project in any way? Are you from Ipswich or from
Felixstowe?
Felixstowe.
Yes, yeah. I mean, I'm going to be controversial, but if a political decision was made to build a northern bypass in Ipswich, I understand that would be a decision that you would actually make. Would it make your jobs easier in terms of freeing up land, or would it make it more difficult?
Well, it will make the strategic options more varied and more open. But building on green land is always extremely difficult in terms of sort of local communities and the opposition to it. So in some respects, it makes it easier being a planner in Ipswich that we haven't got a lot of green land to build on. In terms of seeing the way ahead for Ipswich, because what it does do, what the constraint does do, is put a lot of pressure on these small sites in the town. And developers, you've heard of the phrase garden grabbing, haven't you? You get a lot of people seeking to build in back gardens, on small workshop areas, all manner of small sites. The local developers are sort of trawling over them all the time, trying to see how much housing they can fit onto them, which upsets